the today's lecture. So this is the 12th lecture in this module. We are going to do electrical drives, and this is the second module and second part. In the second module, first part, what we have seen is different types of propulsion systems. There were diesel engine, petrol engine, and there was engine which is driven by natural gas. In the second part of second module, actually we are going to see different drives. Now there are mainly four types of motors, that is DC motor, induction motor, BLDC and SRM. BLDC stands for brushless DC motor, SRM stands for switched reluctance motor, induction motor is actually a AC motor, and there is DC motor. So what is drive? Drive is nothing but whenever the motor is there, then there is the power transmission system, axle, differential, and it is taking the power all the way to the rear wheel. If it is rear wheel drive, all these things together actually is called as a drive. Now, if it is a DC motor drive, AC motor or BLDC, all these motors are taking the main power from a battery, which is a DC source. Now, in case of DC motor, there is no problem. That is running the main part, and rotation is created, and that rotation is actually driving the car. Induction motor, which is a AC motor, so between the battery and induction motor, there comes a circuit which is called as a inverter. So inverter converts DC into AC, and then this AC supply is given to the induction motor, and induction motor produces the required mechanical torque. Third one is BLDC. So BLDC is an advancement of DC motor. So DC motor is having mainly two coils and brush commutator arrangement. Brush commutator arrangement is making the motor heavy. BLDC is brushless DC motor. So there is no brush. It is making the motor a lot lighter. And this is used where the application is electrical drive, Hello. Okay. So let us start with the types of DC motor drives. So this is the first type of motor that we are saying. Four topics only. Our module 2 will be over. So the motors used in EV and HEV usually require frequent start stop. So this is the characteristic which is required for vehicle drive. That is, you have to constantly start and stop the vehicle. So the motor also has to be started and stopped at a very regular interval, which is not the case in case of industrial application of motor. So in industrial application, once the motor starts, it keeps on doing its work for longer amount of time. So this is the difference between industrial motor and vehicular motor. So vehicular motor needs to be start stopped at regular interval. So high rate of acceleration, deceleration, high torque and low speed, hill climbing, low torque at high speed, that is called cruising, and a very wide speed range of operation are also the features of vehicular motor. So this is the paragraph you have to remember very well. That is what is the difference and requirement of vehicular motor. The motor drives in EV and HEV can be classified into two main groups. One is commutator based motor. So all the DC motors mainly are commutator type. So last day we had seen a video in the class. There we have seen that there are two things required. One is MMF, that is the magnetomotive force, which is created by the electric supply. So electric supply is given to the field coil and that is producing the magnet. And second thing is current carrying conductor. So conductor is connected in the armature and armature is to be given the electricity supply. So for that there was the brush commutator arrangement. So whenever I am talking about DC motor, this is actually commutator based motor, and brush commutator arrangement is facing wear and tear at regular interval. That is a problem. So motor drives in EV, HEV mainly are two types. One is commutator motor, that is the DC motors, and one is commutator-less motor, which is induction motors. DC motors are commutator motors. They include series excited, that means series DC motor, shunt DC motor, compound DC motor, separately excited DC motor, and self-excited DC motor. So there are mainly two supply required in DC motor. One is at the armature and one is at the field. Field means it creates a magnetic field. So for that, if we are giving two different power supply, that means one supply is given to the armature, another supply is separately given to the field. That is called as separately excited DC motor. And if from the same supply, armature is also getting electricity, field is also getting electricity, that is called as self-excited DC motor. I will show you the circuit later on. And permanent magnet excited motors. So these are the types of with brush or with commutator motor. Then a very important paragraph, DC motors needs commutators and brushes to feed the current into the rotating armature from a static power supply. So this is the construction we have seen in the last day. Today also we are going to see an image. So such components, that is brush commutator, require maintenance at regular level because there is a wear and tear of brush regularly. The winding excited DC motor. Winding excited means this is called field winding. So field winding is producing the magnetomotive force or the magnetic action. The winding excited DC motors have low specific power density because a lot of power is wasted in creating the magnetic field. But without magnetic field, motor will not run. But that magnetic field creation is actually wasting a lot of input DC power, and it is actually creating low specific power density. Even then, so even with all these negatives, the DC motor is actually a mature technology. DC motor is very simple to control, and hence DC drives have been prominent in EV, HEV based electric propulsion system. So this is a slide which talks about difference between industrial DC motor and vehicular DC motor. This talks about the different types of motors required in case of vehicular. One is commutator based, one is commutator less. What are the different types of commutator based motor? All the DC motors are commutator based motor. And what is the positives and negatives of DC motor? That is given in the last paragraph. And even if with the all the negatives, there are few negatives, that is low specific power density, there is a power loss in brush commutator, there is wear and tear in the brush commutator, then also they are used as main propulsion system in the vehicles. So DC motors are preferred. This is a classification of all the motor drives. In the left side you can see this is the commutator based motor, self-excited, separately excited. Okay, this is series, this is shunt, field excited. PM stands for permanent magnet. So all these are DC motors with commutator and brush. And right side, this is commutator less motor. They are mainly AC motors. So there is one type of AC motor which is called as induction motor. 3-phase, 1-phase, both are possible, and this is called wound rotor and squirrel cage. So these are the two types of induction motor. Then there is synchronous motor, permanent magnet brushless motor. Switched reluctance motor, this is called SRM, last topic of our this module. And this PM hybrid, that is permanent magnet hybrid motor. Synchronous motor can be divided into three parts, that is wound rotor, permanent magnet, and reluctance. So all this is not possible for us to see, but at least four types of motors we will see: DC series motor, induction motor, brushless DC motor, this one, and switched reluctance motor. We will see that. Technological developments have taken the commutator-less electric motors, that means this part AC motors, into a new era. Advantages include higher efficiency, higher power density, lower operating cost. They are also more reliable and maintenance free compared to the commutator based DC motor. So brush commutator arrangement is a always with friction arrangement. So always there is a wear and tear at the brush, and thus commutatorless electric motor have now become more attractive. So initial part, commutator based DC motor was being used. Nowadays commutator less induction motors are being used. Thing nowadays. DC motor drive principle. So DC motor drives have been widely used in application requiring adjustable speed, good speed regulation, frequent starting, braking, reversing. So each part is very important. Various DC motor drives have been widely applied to electric traction due to their technological maturity and control simplicity. Operating principle of DC motor we have seen. So these are two north pole, south pole. They are actually giving the MMF supply, and this is the coil for armature, and this part is the commutator, and this is the brush. So brush is actually connecting the electric supply to the commutator, and through commutator the electric supply is connected to the coil. This coil is carrying a electric current, and this coil is rotating in the magnetic field. Hence this coil is keeps on rotating, so there is a mechanical force which is produced on this coil. So the main fundamental is current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field experiences a mechanical force, and direction of mechanical force is given by Fleming's left hand rule, and the force, how much force is created, that is given by this rule, which is the mechanical force F. That means the whatever rotational torque is produced, whatever force is there, that is actually given by B into I into L, where B is the flux density in this field given in Weber per meter square, I is the current which is being carried by the conductor, and L is the length of the conductor. So more is the length, more will be the force produced on the conductor. So flux density, current carrying capacity or current carried by the conductor, and length of the conductor, they are multiplied and they are producing how much is the force. So when the wire, that means this conductor wire makes a coil, the force acting on its both sides produce armature torque, which is called as TA, which stands for armature torque. And how much is armature torque, which is actually the this is rotating part, and this is actually connected to the shaft. Okay, this is the motor shaft. So this thing rotates means shaft is rotating, so motor is rotating an object. Now how much is that torque with which the shaft rotates? It's given by B into I into L into cos alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is nothing but the angle between this is the alpha. So whenever this armature conductor is rotating, the angle between the armature conductor and the flux. So fluxes are produced from north to south horizontally, and this alpha keeps on changing as this armature is keeping on rotating this conductor. This alpha is keeping on changing. That means what we find is this torque is also keeps on changing for one set of conductor, and there are many sets of conductor. So we have seen in the last day the video, that lecture again I will record complete lecture and I'll upload. That is the lecture number 11. Okay, so this alpha keeps on changing, and we find that when this thing is vertical, alpha is less; when this thing is horizontal, alpha is more. So to remove the variation in the torque generated, many such conductors are kept, which is actually making the rotation process smooth. Okay, like this. And this is the rotating principle of DC motor. Now DC motor constructional details, very important. So here you can see this is a separately excited DC motor. Separately excited means RF is the field resistance. So this is the part which is producing the magnet, that is the electromagnet. And this is actually the armature. This is given, this is getting supply from VA. So this is one supply which is supplying the armature. This is another supply which is supplying the field. Hence this is called as a separately excited DC motor, where this is called as a self-excited DC series motor. Why series motor? Because armature resistance and field coil both are in series. Okay, and both are getting supply from VA. So this is called self-excited because same electricity supply, same voltage supply is supplying field as well as armature. So in this case, in the first case, separately excited, field current is IF, armature current is IA. They are different. But in case of series motor, field current and armature current both are same, which is given by IA only. This is the biggest feature of DC series motor. That is, field current and armature current both are same. So whatever current is passing through the armature and whatever current is used to produce the magnetic field, they are same. So whatever phi is there, phi means nothing but B. So phi is the Weber, and flux density, that is a function of Ia. So whatever armature current is being conducted by the conductor and whatever is the field current, they are actually same. So phi is proportional to Ia in case of DC series motor. So here the magnetic field may be produced by a set of winding which is called as field winding. In case of permanent magnet, the field winding is not there. The current carrying electric conductor is called as armature. So this is the sign of armature. In practice, the armature consists several armature conductors or coils. To obtain continuous or maximum torque, slip rings and brushes are used to make the current flow through the coil when the coil is at position alpha is equal to 0. So this is the sign of brush, this dark thing, and slip ring, coil, commutator, all those things are there, which takes the static DC current to the rotating armature. The performance parameters of DC motors, very important thing, remember this, are armature voltage, that means voltage between these 2 points, back EMF. Okay, back EMF is something whenever this armature conductor, so it's a coil there, whenever they are getting some electricity, as per the inductor rule, they will generate a reverse force which will oppose the force of, which will oppose the cause of its creation. Again, I'll repeat what is meant by back EMF. So there is a coil here inside armature. The property is whenever a coil is given some current, that coil tries to produce another opposite EMF which will oppose the cause of its production. So whatever current is flowing through the armature, there is IA. So this armature coil will try to produce a voltage which will stop, or which will try to stop the current production IA. That means in the armature conductor there will be created a reverse voltage which is called as EB or back EMF, and I'll tell you that EB is actually producing the motor rotate. So back EMF is the main cause for which the motor is rotating. Okay, and field flux. So there are mainly three parameters of DC motor. First is armature voltage given by VA. This is VA, this is actually input voltage. So armature voltage is between these 2 points. Okay, so armature voltage, back EMF given by EB, and field flux. So four types of motors generally we find. One is separately excited, one is self-excited DC series. Another case we will find self-excited DC shunt, where this field coil and armature coil, they are in parallel. And another is compound. So compound motor is actually clubbing the advantages of DC series motor and DC shunt motor. And in compound also there are two types, uh, there are two types of compound motors. One is cumulative compound, one is differential compound. So we will see only the DC series motor, so we are not going for the other things. This is a very important thing, that how the torque armature current characteristic of DC series motor is explained. This is the main important thing. So see the circuit, this is V in, this is RA. Now RA is actually the field plus armature resistance. So this RA is having two parts, one is field resistance, one is armature resistance. Together I am showing as RA. And this is IA. IA is nothing but armature current, same as field current IF, and they are actually causing, this current is actually causing phi is here, phi is nothing but the flux which is required for the motor running. So Ia is equal to If. Now follow every line very carefully. So armature torque Ta is directly proportional to two things. One is phi. Phi is nothing but the flux produced by the field current. In this case, field current and armature current are same. And second is armature current. So whatever torque produced by the motor is directly proportional to phi and Ia. So this is the equation of torque. A stands for armature, T stands for torque. So this armature torque is equal to K is a proportionality constant, phi into Ia, where phi is the field flux, that is the mmf, and Ia is the armature current. When the motor has just started, when the motor has just started means phi has not built up much. That means the magnetization of the core or magnetization of the pole has not started much. At that time phi value is very low. As the motor keeps on building up speed, Ia keeps on increasing. At the time phi keeps on increasing, and at a certain point phi goes into saturation. So phi is the magnetic flux. This is the only thing that you have to understand clearly. So phi at the initial stage of motor starting is value is very less, and phi is proportional to Ia, which is shown here. Phi is proportional to If, and for series motor If and Ia they are same. So phi is proportional to Ia. Initially Ia value is very less because motor has just started. Armature current is very less. In that case, phi value is very less. In that case, we find is Ta is equal to Ke into Ia square, because Ta is equal to K into phi into Ia, and initially phi is directly proportional to Ia. Substituted here, what we find, Ta is equal to Ke into Ia square. That means whatever torque we are finding at the initial stage of the motor, the torque is a square function of armature current. This is a very important thing, that initially torque is equal to phi into Ia. Phi is directly proportional to Ia armature current. Substitute here. So we are finding is initially torque is a squared function of armature current. That means huge amount of torque is suddenly generated in case of DC series motor at the starting of the motor. Then the motor keeps on running, the flux starts building. That means the electromagnet starts going towards saturation. So as Ia increases, phi increases, again Ia increases, speed increases, phi increases. At a certain value of Ia, the field magnet at phi becomes saturated. So for every magnet we can magnetize it up to a certain point. Beyond that we cannot magnetizing it. So initially when phi was less, phi was directly proportional to Ia. In that case we got torque directly proportional to Ia square. But after some time, what we find is the Ia has become saturated. Even if we are increasing the Ia, phi is not going to be a function of Ia. So phi becomes saturated after a certain time, because electromagnet inside the motor has reached the saturation point. So after this point, the which is called as saturation point, the increment in Ia does not increase phi anymore. It is called as magnetic field saturation point. After this point, phi remains constant. So even if we are increasing Ia, in that case phi remains constant. What will be the torque equation in that case? Torque equation will be Ke into Ia into phi. Phi is a constant, so we are not taking phi here. So initially Ta is proportional to Ia square, and after saturation point Ta is proportional to Ia. So this Ta proportional to Ia is the linear region of torque that happens at the latter stage, and Ta proportional to Ia square is the initial starting torque, which is very high. Now here you can find, as phi of the motor field is constant, after certain time motor started. So this is linear torque region. So this is the only thing you have to understand very well, that initially phi is proportional to Ia, phi is increasing, Ia is increasing, Ta proportional to Ia square, nonlinear torque region, huge starting torque. After certain time motor started, Ia increases, Ia increases, Ia increases, Ia increases. At a certain point Ia becomes saturated, and after saturation point Ia becomes constant. So this is the linear torque region which is present in the motor. 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15 to 16 to 17 to 18 to 19 to 20 to 21 to 22 to 23 to 24 to 25 to 26 to 27 to 28 to 29 to 30 to 31 to 32 to 33 to 34 to 35 to 36 to 37 to 38 to 39 to 40 to 41 to 42 to 43 to 44 to 45 to 46 to 47 to 48 to 49 to 50 to 51 to 52 to 53 to 54 to 55 to 56 to 57 to 58 to 59 to 60 to 61 to 62 to 63 to 64 to 65 to 66 to 67 to 68 to 69 to 70 to 71 to 72 to 73 to 74 to 75 to 76 to 77 to 78 to 79 to 80 to 81 to 82 to 83 to 84 to 85 to 86 to 87 to 88 to 89 to 90 to 91 to 92 to 93 to 94 to 95 to 96 to Hello, hello. Okay, so after the saturation point, even if you are increasing the IA, phi is not going to increase. So this is the linear region, and initially this is the nonlinear region. And this nonlinear region is actually responsible for very high starting torque of DC motor, series motor, which is the main feature of DC series motor. So it says that very high starting torque at low value of IA. So here IA value is less, but starting torque is very high because torque is proportional to IA square. So IA builds up, and TA also reduces, and it settles to a certain low value. So this is the first characteristic as shown here, which is called as torque versus armature current characteristic, and this torque is called as armature torque. So there are three characteristics for DC series motor. This is the first. Second characteristic is N versus IA. So N is directly proportional to 1 by phi, and N is directly proportional to 1 by IA. So armature current increases, and then you will find the speed of the motor reduces and stabilizes at a certain value. One very important thing you can see here, as N is inversely proportional to IA, initially when the armature current is very less, speed of the motor is dangerously high. Okay, because the motor has started with no load. What is meant by load on the motor? Load is nothing but whatever weight we put on the motor shaft, whatever weight we want the motor to rotate, that is called as load. So this is why always there is asked a question that why DC series motor should not be started with no load. That means you have just started the motor without any kind of weight on its shaft. What will happen is initially IA value will be very high, and speed value will be, so initially at lower IA, speed value will be very high, and this might burn the armature conductor. So always we should start DC series motor with some load, with some heavy load on its shaft. So this is the exponentially kind of a decreasing kind of a characteristic, not exponentially kind of a decreasing kind of characteristic. So very high starting torque at no load, at no load, that means at this point. So this is the no load point. Okay, there is armature current is less and speed is very high. As the load increases, that means gradually we keep on putting weight on the armature shaft. At that time, the speed of the motor reduces and stabilizes at a certain point. But the main characteristic of DC series motor is this. This is very important. Please prepare it for exam. There is very high starting torque. Why? Because initially TA is proportional to IA square. Now this is a DC shunt motor, how it looks like. So DC shunt motor is mainly used for constant speed operation. So at industry, this is a very famous motor. Here you can see supply voltage is VA. This is the armature current, this is the field current, and this is the parallel. That's why they are called as DC shunt motor, mainly used for constant speed application. And this is compound motor, where you can find this is the armature part, this is the field part, and there is a RS. RS is a special kind of winding which is actually connected in series with the armature. So instead of two, there are three coils in compound motor, and this is called cumulative compound because in this case, the characteristic of series and shunt, they are actually added. And there is a differential type of compound motor where series and shunt, their characteristic is subtracted. Okay, so this cumulative compound motor is very heavily used in case of very big trucks and all those 16 tires, 20 tires truck. There, for DC drive, this cumulative compound motor is used. The same thing, whatever is explained previously by my slides in the book of Ehsani, the same thing is given in this form. So this is also important slide, but already you know it. Let me explain it very fast. Here RA is the added resistance of series and that is armature and field. Okay, V in is the input supply voltage. EB, back EMF, is a function of K is the proportional constant, phi and omega m. Phi is nothing but the flux which is produced, omega m is the speed of the motor. So these are the three equations mainly that you have to remember. V in is equal to back EMF plus IA into RA. IA into RA is called as the armature copper loss, and EB is called as back EMF. So whatever input voltage we are giving, that is producing back EMF. Back EMF is mainly making the motor rotate here. Okay, so EB is equal to P phi Zn by A. P is the pole, phi is the flux, Z is number of conductors, N is the speed by A. Okay, so back EMF is directly proportional to speed. We know that. Okay, so back EMF is what running the motor. IAR is the motor loss. So EB is equal to phi into omega m. So Ke is the proportional constant, phi is the flux, omega m is the armature or motor speed. K is the proportional constant. So we have seen this equation previously. Torque of armature is equal to phi into Ia. Ta is armature torque. In case of DC series motor, flux phi is a function of armature current Ia. Phi is equal to Kf into Ia. So phi and Ia both are proportional because it's a series motor. If is equal to Ia. If is nothing but the current, field current, which is responsible for producing the flux. So phi is directly proportional to Ia. If you put it in the same equation here, torque equation, you are finding Ta is proportional to Ia square. That means DC series motor is having very high starting torque. So huge starting torque at the starting of the DC series motor. This is the best choice for electric vehicle or hybrid vehicle. This is the equation you just remember for the short question in the exam. That is armature torque is given by Ke, Kf, Vn square. Vn is nothing but input voltage. Ke and Kf are the motor constant, proportionally constant. Ra is nothing but field resistance plus armature resistance. Here it is written. Ra is the total resistance of field and armature. Ke, Kf and omega m. Omega m is 2 pi Fm. Omega m is 2 pi n. So whenever the speed of the motor is known in RPM, you can convert this thing into omega. So this is the equation of armature torque as per the book of Ehsani. This is the how the armature torque is found out. This is the third characteristic. So previous characteristic, first we have seen torque versus Ia. Second characteristic we have seen speed versus armature current. This is the torque versus speed characteristic. And this is the most important for series motor. So all three motor torque versus speed characteristic is given. We have to remember this. That is series motor torque versus speed characteristic. X-axis is the speed, Y-axis is the torque. In some book you might find torque is in the x-axis, speed in the y-axis, but better you show this one. Speed in the x-axis and torque is in the y-axis, so that initially the speed of the motor is very less, but in that case torque is very high. This is called as very high starting torque. So speed torque characteristic of this series motor is shown. This is a negative for this motor. Increase in armature current increases the magnetic flux at initial stage. Hence, Ta is directly proportional to Ia square. This we have seen. This causes huge starting torque at the starting phase when speed is low, and DC motor is act as a huge starting torque wala motor. So in this case, you are finding initially the speed is less, armature current is there, and at that lower speed the torque of the motor is very high. That's why this kind of motor is used for crane, hoist, lift and all those things, where the load has to be pulled up in an impulse kind of a thing. Just say in one pull load has to be taken up, those kind of thing, hoist, crane, lift, there DC series motor is used. Vehicle also we started. So at the starting part, vehicle requires huge amount of torque within a very small span of time. That's why DC series motor is the best choice for that. So when the motor is loaded afterward, loaded means gradually you are increasing the motor mechanical force on the shaft, its speed drastically reduces. So you can find out whenever the speed is increasing, torque is also reducing. Okay, likewise. A very important characteristic. So these were the basic characteristic of DC motor, series, shunt, compound, and all this thing we have seen. So series motor is mainly used for high starting torque. Shunt motor is used for compound speed, constant speed, and compound motor is actually having comparatively higher starting torque and constant speed both. Okay. Now after the basics of the construction and characteristic of DC series motor, then how to control. So there are mainly two types of control which is there in your syllabus. First one is combined armature voltage and field control. So here we are actually using a separately excited DC motor. So this is separately excited because VA is the armature field supply, and this is RA. Here RA means only the armature resistance, and here there is an external rheostat connected. So if you are increasing this value of rheostat, IA value is reducing. So this is a separately excited motor. In this case, better control is possible. It's a series DC motor. In that case, you cannot control armature current and field current separately. But in this case, you are finding this is VF. So this is the supply VF, and this is the armature. This is the field rheostat, which is connected externally. By changing the value of this field rheostat, you can control the field current IF, and IF and phi, they are inversely proportional. You will find. Okay. In this case, armature and field, they are separated because armature is getting supply from VA, field is getting supply from VF. So in this case, separately excited DC motor, better controllability is possible because we can control field, we can control armature both. Okay, so combined armature voltage and field control. So the independence of armature voltage and field voltage gives more flexibility and better control of speed and torque. What is the requirement? Requirement is initially the armature voltage control is used for EHV and HEV most desirable speed So this green thing you must remember. For EV HEV most desirable speed torque characteristic is a constant torque below a certain base speed. You can check here this graph. Okay, below the base speed the torque is constant, and above the base speed the power is constant. This is what is required. I'll repeat, below the base speed the torque is constant, and above the base speed the power is constant. And what is the relationship between power, speed and torque? Power is equal to speed into torque. So what we want is EVA HEV, the most desirable speed torque characteristic is constant torque below a certain base speed, that is below this torque is constant, and a constant power for a speed range above the base speed. So in a speed range lower than the base speed, that means we are in this region, initial region, IA and IF are set to their rated values. So initially the armature current and field current are set at their rated values, and we are getting the high initial voltage producing a rated constant torque. Now the armature current is slowly increased, and finally armature value voltage VA, it cannot be increased any further. Okay, so now armature voltage VA is increased to increase the motor speed. At base speed VA reached maximum, so in this case it's equal to Vin. VA cannot be increased any further. So what is the base speed? Base speed means VA, that is the armature supply, is maximum. In this case we are having maximum armature torque. So here the armature control is over. So we are cutting this resistance from the armature circuit in such a way that we are increasing IA, we are increasing VA, and we are here, that is torque is maximum. So at the base speed torque is maximum, this VA value is maximum, armature control is over. And what they are saying, combined armature and field control. So now when armature control is over, because this voltage has reached maximum, now the field control starts. So initially we were cutting the armature resistance, we were increasing the armature current, we were increasing the speed of the motor. Afterwards what we do is we cut to further increase the speed from the base speed, the phi is weakened. Okay, so in that case you keep on increasing this value of RF. As we are keeping the increasing the value of RF, the phi will decrease. If phi decreases, then speed increases. So these are the two steps. Initially IA is cut. IA is cut means initially the RA is cut, that is armature resistance. IA is increasing. IA is increasing means torque is increasing. So whenever the V is maximum, after that you keep on adding RF in the field circuit, which will decrease the value of phi, and as phi is decreasing, the speed will increasing. So in this phase, when field control, when you are adding resistance in the field circuit, when you are weakening the flux, in that case the power will remain constant, because in that case torque is decreasing and speed is increasing. Okay, and here you are getting maximum speed. So we are getting the best combined armature voltage and field control. Below the base speed torque is constant, above the base speed power is constant. So to further increase the speed from the base speed, this is the field control part, and previous slide here we have shown the armature control part. So base speed, the phi is weakened. Okay, this is called field control. How can you weaken the phi? By adding resistance in the field circuit. So this is achieved by field rheostat, hence the back EMF and IE are maintained to be constant. In the field control, speed increases and torque reduces as power is equal to speed into torque. Hence, the output power remains constant and after base speed during the field control. So you can check here, in the field control, the power is remaining constant. In the armature control, torque is remaining constant. So this is the ideal characteristic of vehicle, armature, voltage and field control together. Very important question, please prepare. And this is possible only for separately excited DC motor. Because in separately excited DC motor, you are having the greater flexibility to control both field and armature. This is the last slide, which is talking about that NTA characteristic of DC series motor. You're finding that DC series motor are suitable for applications where there is requirement of very high starting torque, such as traction, lift, hoist, etc. This was the case for electric traction before the power electronics and microcontroller era. But now this is power electronics and microcontroller era. DC series motor have the major advantage disadvantage in traction. At starting of the motor, if the motor is not loaded, okay, full supply voltage is connected to the motor, dangerous increment happens in the armature current, which will burn the armature winding. So there is a very big problem of DC series motor. Motor starter is connected to save motor winding in the initial stage. Now this is another new circuit, which is a motor starter. So DC series motor is having the biggest disadvantage that initial IA is very high if the motor is started on no load. So this might burn the armature conductor. To save the motor, what we are using is we are using a starter circuit. The starter circuit does not allow the initial armature current to be very high. So thus it saves the armature conductor. Bigger disadvantage of DC series motor is regenerative braking cannot be found out or cannot be arranged in case of DC series motor. So what is regenerative braking? We will see mostly in the next lecture, that is in the chopper circuit. Shunt motor is used where constant speed is required, mainly in industry. The speed torque performance characteristic of cumulative compound DC motor is in between series excited and shunt excited motors. So this is all about DC motor and DC motor control. So in DC motor, there are two types of control. One we have seen as combined armature and voltage field control, that is for separately excited DC motor. Another we will see, which is called as chopper control, which is more sophisticated DC motor speed control. So tomorrow we will see the chopper control, and I stop here. Thank you.